Hello, and welcome to Make a Difference, the show about how volunteers are making a difference every day right here in Montgomery County. I'm your host, Florence Jewell, and today I'm joined by Ara Elbari, Middle Eastern Community Liaison from the Office of Community Partnership. A lot of times people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's a quote from Steve Jobs. This month, we celebrate Volunteer Appreciation Month and Middle Eastern and Arab American Heritage Months. And in this episode, we shine a spotlight on guests who know what they want and are showing others how to do the same through volunteerism and cultural literacy. We start with my visit to the Montgomery County Circuit Court in Rockville, Maryland, to talk with Montgomery County State's Attorney John MacArthur. For over 15 years, John has championed and collaborated with the volunteers at Montgomery County Public School and others overseeing the Montgomery County State's Attorney Office Truancy Prevention Program. Later in the show, we'll return here to the studio where Ara will lead conversation with organizations and volunteers supporting the county.
Thank you, Florence. As you may know, March is Middle Eastern American Heritage Month, and April is Arab American Heritage Month. In honor of these momentous occasions, today we're going to highlight two initiatives led by Middle Eastern American Advisory Group and Arab Americans of Montgomery County.
Let's get started with John MacArthur. Hi, John. Thank you so much for having us here in your office.
Great to be with you.
Looking forward to an exciting time with you. John, as you know, this is April Volunteer Month, and we're recognizing you and what you're doing in the county with the state's attorney's truancy prevention program. You've been at this for 15 years. You had the insight to get it started. So before we get into the specifics, let's just talk a little bit about who John is
Okay.
and share with our audience briefly who you are.
Well, I'm an educator, I'm an attorney, I'm a coach, I'm a dad, and I'm a grandfather. So that's me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. So as an educator, let's talk about the truancy prevention program. You believe education is the heart of everything.
I do.
So
I actually
tell
do.
us, what is truancy?
Truancy, there are statewide definitions of what chronic and habitual truancy mean, but basically it's just regularly unexcused absences from school. We're not talking about young people who may have medical or other kinds of challenges and they're out of school on an excused basis. These are kids who should be in school, are not regularly in school on a repetitive nature, such that it actually almost invariably is affecting their grades, and I think the potential they have for themselves as human beings. Because I think education is transformative, and I think it is a key to a better life for many, many of our kids, and trying to convince them of the fact that this is the key to a better life is part of the overall goal of the truancy prevention program.
And as part of that prevention program, you've invited volunteers to come in this journey with you.
Let me say, we've not invited volunteers. We are relying upon volunteers. We could not do this program without volunteers. We have extraordinary men and women of all ages. Some are seniors, some are college-age kids who come in and work with our program to work directly with the kids. One of the things I talked about being an educator. I taught at Montgomery College for 43 years, taught at Hopkins for 20 years. I taught high school for 6 years here in the county. I learned something when I was a high school teacher, and that was that an individual in a school system, in a school setting, can change a child's life. Just one individual, a meaningful adult. And so one of the things we try to do with our volunteers is to give them the charge to be the meaningful adult that changes a child's life, which I don't think you can do anything more important than that. And we have just extraordinary individuals in terms of range of age, range of experience. Look, I've got several former principals that have worked in this program, members of the school board that have worked in this program, former teachers have worked in this program, but then people that come from all walks of life. I've had people that were television or radio personalities in another life who now volunteered their time to work with this program. So, and we could not do this without volunteers, because we do have tremendous support from the county, but we supplement the monies that we do get from the county with the volunteer hours that are given to us so graciously by so many people.
Speaking of the volunteers, the county, and how you're running and managing the program, when you think of the current environment that we're in at the local and federal level, what keeps you up at night around that? What are some of the things you think about?
Well, let me say, as directly relates to the truancy program, let me say to you, we did get initial funding when I started this 15 years ago for a couple of years from the federal government. This has been a self-sustaining financial enterprise for the last 13 years. So this is a locally funded issue. So I know the state is having tough times with dollars right now. There's a budget shortfall. Obviously, we have some difficulties in terms of figuring out what direction we're taking on the federal level. But I will tell you, one of the things that's great about Montgomery County is, besides we have so many wonderful volunteers that come to us from the county is committed at all levels of government, whether it's the county executive, the county council, Montgomery County schools. Everyone is devoted to this program. We don't do this alone. We may have started it, but along the way we have joined with many, many partners. And because of the local support that we have that is so strong, look, I have no fear that we're going to continue to fund this program. It's become more robust over the years. We started at 2 schools. Now we're at 25 middle schools, 2 middle schools. My goal is to be at every single middle school within about the next 5 years. Every single school needs us, and quite candidly, we're being asked. If we had more volunteers, we'd open up in more programs and more schools, because the need for this program is more pronounced now than ever, and that became very, very apparent. Coming out of the COVID years, we just, the idea of going to school regularly and having to show up to be successful in schools, some of that seems to have been lost by younger people in the community, and we have to go back and re-educate them about the importance of showing up. One of the things I talk to the students about is, and I apologize to the teachers that are present when I do this at the graduations, the most important thing for success in life is consistency and showing up.
Absolutely.
Consistency and showing up. People ultimately successful in life are people who are there every single day. It's actually more important, this is where the apology comes in, it's actually more important and more of a predictor of professional long-term success than grades. Now, maybe the teachers don't like that, but showing up, being consistent, putting the time in, really is a meaningful thing to a young person, and it's a lifelong learned thing that will make their life better for them.
Can you tell us how many schools are you in at the moment?
Well, we began this 15 years ago with 2 middle schools. We are now up to 25 middle schools and 2 high schools. And the irony is more and more high schools see the successes we've had at the middle schools, and principals at local high schools would like to see us expand to the high schools as well. We're proud of that they want us there. We want to be there. But my goal is within the next 4 to 5 years, be in every single middle school, because we've made it a calculated decision. That's where we can have the greatest effect in getting kids to re-engage in their education.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. And I want to unpack some of, you said a lot. So this is a show about volunteering, and we want volunteers to come. We want them to be consistent in meeting the needs of the students. What I wanted to ask you is, when you talk about consistency and showing up, how can you show that visually or in a role model role with your volunteers and the students? What are some of the training that you do? I'm trying to get to the training that you help.
If someone comes into the program, there is, and we do it on a repetitive basis. We have 2 or 3 days of training for anybody that's new to the program, and there is continued training about sensitivity, about what are the kinds of common problems we've seen? What are some of the challenges? And some of we have great diversity in this community too.
Absolutely.
So we do talk about not only the challenge of doing the program, but dealing with this program in a diverse background. Like our school system, the largest single segment of our school system right now is Hispanic. The white population, about 25, 26% of the community, African American, 20%, 14% Asian American. We live in the most diverse suburban community in the United States. That's what we need, volunteers from every segment of this community, because I think it's vitally important that these young people see successful people that look like our community, that are there giving them the same message about how important education is and how important showing up every day is.
And John, you have just done for us the call to action for our listeners. We need diversity. We need diverse volunteers.
We always can use more volunteers, and we have extraordinary men and women. Quite candidly, besides meeting great kids, if you're a volunteer and you work in this program, you will walk away with stories and experiences that will improve your life as you're improving the lives of these children. That happens every year, and we spend a lot of time talking to our volunteers, reflecting on their experiences and how much it has meant to them. So it's a two-way street. We're saving kids, and we're also improving the lives of those people who volunteer for us.
Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for looking at this 15 years ago and transforming it and continue to transform it. And we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about volunteering. I want to ask our listeners to join you and me in volunteering this month. April is Volunteer Month. Even if they can't find an organization, I want to ask our listeners to thank someone like John for his effort and others that are supporting John in volunteering for our community.
Well, it's certainly not about me, but about among the partnerships, and the volunteers are absolutely critical to us. I think we really have so many schools that are clamoring for us to bring it to them. It cannot do it unless others step up and join us in continuing and expanding this program. We're from 2 to 27. We're on our way to 38 or 40, whatever the total number is right
40.
now. We want to be everywhere so we can help more children and get them re-engaged in their education.
Well, thank you, John, and I really appreciate you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. That was great.
That was great, too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center is part of the Office of Community Partnerships with Montgomery County, Maryland. It serves anyone living in Montgomery County with a focus on immigrant needs. Do you need to find help but don't know where to start or who to ask? You can either call the Gilchrist Center or visit any of the Gilchrist Center's 3 sites in Wheaton, Gaithersburg, and East County. Our staff will help you find programs and services available for you. For example, we can help you identify organizations that provide assistance with employment, healthcare, legal needs, housing, financial needs, and more. You can also find that information on our website. For example, our website has a dedicated Immigrant Resources section. In that section, you can find organizations that provide support on legal immigration matters. You can also find a Know Your Rights page with guides, flyers, Know Your Rights cards, and family preparedness information. Our website is easy to navigate and can be translated into more than 200 languages. You can find our website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/Gilchrist. If you would prefer to talk to someone live, you can call our information and referral line at 240-777-4940, open between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday, or you can visit us in person. Our staff are bilingual and have access to interpretation services. But that is not all. The Gilchrist Center also offers free English, basic computer, and citizenship preparation classes. Our classes are open to people living in Montgomery County, Maryland, ages 18 and older. Some of our classes require you to purchase a book. For more information, please call the Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center or visit our website.
Welcome back to Make a Difference. I'm your host, Florence Jewell, and with me is Ara Elbaro, Middle Eastern Community Liaison from the Office of Community Partnership. Welcome, Ara.
Thank
so
you,
good
Florence.
to have you with
Thank
us.
you for having me. Appreciate it.
Ara, let's talk a little bit about who you are, what's your role at the OCP.
Sure. My name is Arwa Borai. I work as the Middle Eastern liaison with the Office of Community Partnerships, which is part of Montgomery County. And my role is basically, as the rest of our liaison in the office, is to strengthen relationship between the county government and the community it serves. For me, of course, focusing on the Middle Eastern community to make sure that every resident in the county has a say in the decision-making process. So in addition to our main mission, we also, with our commitment for inclusion, we try as much as we can to be responsive to the needs of our community. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Recently, we organized, or we did help organizing 2 virtual webinars for the Federal Employee Survivor Guide, which provided resources for federal employee in how to transition to the job searching. And also we did organize a series of events about immigration laws and victim of violence. We also organize cultural events to ensure that we bridging culture between different, the diverse community in the county.
Absolutely. And so you have with you a guest today, and tell us who your guest is.
Absolutely. Our guest here today is Debbie Trent. She's a long-term member of the Middle Eastern Advisory Group, which is part of OCP, and the advisory group is all volunteer people who are expert and dedicated in their field. Debbie has been working for the advisory group for such a long time, and today she's going to tell us about one initiative for the Middle Eastern Advisory Group, which is called the Stories to Broaden Understanding.
Welcome to the show, Debbie.
Thank you very much. Stories to Broaden Understanding has been important for us because it's a way to bridge cultures. Because when Americans think of the Middle East, it is all too often connected with war, conflict, and refugees. We wanted to share the literary prowess of Middle Eastern writers in the United States. We have hosted conversations with Middle Eastern American authors every year for the past 5 years. Our series includes adults and children's books. We have spoken with novelists, artists, and poets from Egypt and Afghanistan, Iran and Palestine, Israel and Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Pakistan, and Syria and Lebanon. Each program is typically hosted on Zoom by our partner, Montgomery County Public Libraries, and MCPL Program Manager Clotilda Puertoles and the library have been incredibly supportive, helping us grow the audience for this series.
Thank you, Debbie. We do understand that all of the sessions were on Zoom, and except one was on live. So can you tell us more about that one?
Well, we can actually do better than that. We have a video that was done by the other MEAG member who founded this program, Karen Leggett Abaraya, and Moshe Bahar, who is this local Iranian poet and also attorney here in the county.
Behind You is the Sea is Susan Moaddedi Daraj's novel about Palestinians in Baltimore. Jordanian-American author Diana Abu Jaber says the novel is filled with stories of immigrant parents who can't make sense of their American children, but there are also shimmering moments of revelation and reconciliation. Both authors have been guests in Stories to Broaden Understanding, conversations organized by the Montgomery County Middle Eastern American Advisory Group and hosted online by the Montgomery County Public Library. Over 5 years and 18 conversations, we have drawn attention to a broad swath of Middle Eastern American writers, from Egypt and Afghanistan, Israel, Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Palestine. Iranian-American attorney Moshe Bahar translates Persian poetry, especially by and about women. Moshe, you were part of a live conversation at the Rockville Memorial Library. What do you recall about that evening?
So it was a delightful evening. I was very happy to be there. It was one of the few, or probably first, conversations that happened in person. And it was a collaboration between the Office of Community Partnerships and Montgomery County Public Libraries, which I take delight in any and all collaboration. So I thought that was wonderful. And I got to see many of my former coworkers that had heard about this, that live in the county it came. So it was a delightful evening from that aspect, but also it was a nice time to celebrate something that I was passionate about, poetry, with my English-speaking friends, for whom most of the translations were done. And because my daughter is English-speaking, though she does speak Persian, I wanted to make sure she has access to Persian poetry. And many of our children that are heritage speakers, and as well as all of our English-speaking friends. So it was a delightful evening all around.
Why do you think these kinds of conversations are valuable? I mean, it was delightful and it was fun for all of us, especially to be there in person. But why is it worth the time to create this kind of a series and look at literature from other countries?
I think storytelling is really powerful, and it's a wonderful way to get to know other people. And it's a wonderful way to engage a broader participation in dialogues and in being vulnerable, in telling each other about our lives, wherever they may have taken shape, wherever they may have been, and to try to find commonalities. There is so much more commonalities that we can find. And I think those are magical moments when we can establish a connection based on a common interest.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving us some of those magical moments. I'm Karen Leggett-Abaraya. I invite you to join us for the next series of Stories to Broaden Understanding. Watch for it on the Montgomery County Public Library website under Events.
Thank you, Debbie, so much, and thank you so much for all what you do for the Middle Eastern Advisory Group. And we're looking forward to our next, the Stories Broaden Understanding, which is in fall, starting in September, October, November. Thank you so much for being with us today. Back to you, Florence.
Well, I also want to thank you, Debbie and Ara, for enhancing the Make a Difference show, and what you're doing in the county truly makes a difference, and we're honored to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us. We're going to take a quick break and return to Make a Difference.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Ride on Flex, Montgomery County Department of Transportation's on-demand transit service, to help you get around in defined Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton zones. There are no fixed stops or schedules. Just use the Ride on Flex app or call 240-301-3842 to book your ride. Curb-to-curb service is available for people with disabilities. Standard ride-on fare policy applies. Visit rideonflex.com for service areas and hours of operation.
Welcome back to Make a Difference. I'm your host, Florence Jewell, and with me is Ara El-Barai, Middle Eastern Community Liaison from the Office of Community Partnership. Welcome, Ara, and your guests.
Thank you again, Florence. Now moving on to our next initiatives about bridging culture and raising awareness about Arab Heritage Month in general and Arab culture. Today we have Samira Hussein. She's the founder of Arab Americans of Montgomery County. And this year she is among 30 women making history, were selected by Montgomery County Commission of Women. Congratulations, Samira.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. Samira, we have been working together for such a long time on Arab Heritage Month celebration, which is the month of April. Can you tell us more about this celebration, specifically this year, which is coming up on April 7th with the city of Gettysburg?
Yes, sure. Every year we do like a festival. We include music, food, the traditions, displays to invite the community, and it's not limited to the just Arab American community.
Yes.
We always get a huge audience to come and experience because of the misconceptions that people have. They want to come, either they support us or they're curious about our heritage. And this year, our next festival will be on April 7th. At the Boer Park, the activity center with the city of Gaithersburg, that's along with the Multicultural Affairs Committee, will be from between 5 and 7.
Oh, wonderful. And it's a public celebration, so everybody is invited. Hopefully we will see you there to learn more about the Arab culture. We have been also working a lot together with different institutions to raise awareness about Arab culture in general, to be more culturally responsive. So we did work with educational institutions through Montgomery County Public Schools, with different partners like Georgetown University, and we also did some general webinar to raise awareness about Arab culture in general. So can you tell us more about our efforts here through
Sure.
the Arab Americans of Montgomery
I'm a
County?
parent of 4 children who went through Montgomery County Public Schools. So that really gave me the energy and the power to be engaged. So I joined the committees, I joined all the cultural heritage, because I didn't know about other people's heritage, so I didn't expect them to know about mine if I didn't produce. So we do the training. There's a course that it's required for all the teachers to take, 45-hour course, that I have been the guest speaker. We invite them to the mosque, and they hands-on for at least 30 years. We also do partnership with the Georgetown University, Arab Americans in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County Public Schools. We do the partnership in honor of the Arab American Heritage Month. We do this every year, and we do a lot of things in between as well. But this one, Georgetown, they come to Montgomery County. We don't have to go to them. This is a big hit because also teachers and the staff, they can get credit for attending. And this year is going to be on April 8th. In Montgomery County facilities, also the staff, they can watch the messages on their emails. And then we go to the schools. Like we did one of the schools recently. We went, and it was called Unity Day. And we showed artifacts, we showed maps, and we showed posters. And the children were amazed because they asked so many questions. And one example is they just thought all the Arabs come from Saudi Arabia. Nobody else exists. But we went over the map, and we talked about different things, and we showed pictures and things. So the feedback was great from the students themselves. They said, we like your session because it's not really boring, talking about other stuff, because we showed them hands-on, and I always bring artifacts and things, and I let them touch, and I let them see what they can do. And also we do exhibits in the public libraries. We do exhibits, book exhibits. I put also embroidery and all handmade stuff. And we do also festivals in the public libraries. And we have a list of requests for this year as well.
Thank you so much, Samira, for the very impactful work you're doing through Arab Americans of Montgomery County and in partnership with the Office of Community Partnerships. We truly appreciate this partnership, and we hope to continue working with you. And now I'm going to turn it back to you, Florence.
Well, I want to thank both of you for the cultural literacy that I got here today. And thank you so much for being on our show. That's it for this episode of Make a Difference. I would like to thank my co-host, our guests, and all volunteers. I'm your host, Florence Jewell. Remember, change starts with you. Until next time, let's be inspired, involved, and be sure to make a difference.
An estimated 124,000 tons of food scraps are thrown away each year in Montgomery County. Reducing food waste begins with you. Here's how. Plan meals in advance, make a shopping list, and check expiration dates. Cook the food you buy. Cook smaller portions to reduce leftovers. Save extra food in reusable containers. Add a label with the contents and date. Let's keep food out of the waste stream and aim for zero waste. Visit montgomerycountymd.gov/reduce food waste or call 311 to learn more.